Well, it's day 200 off the grid. That's right, 200 days off the grid. Of course, I'm doing a more funker Rauming, of course. That's radio compartment as a literal translation, or radio room. This is really a radio studio, but there we go at Mavtech. And I've done quite a bit today. So we have a look and see what I've done. Oh, we're listening to a not final mix of Beltane's Solstice Altar Returns after Hecate. Or Solstice's Altar Returns after Hecate. But anyway. Look, got a bit of VU metering going on. I made a bit of an improvement to that. I brought along this little 8-watt PA amp, supposedly, that I got once from the Nelson dump shop to use as a driver for it. Because this thing uses quite a high driving voltage. It needs about 4.5 volts to make it do its widdly flicky needle twitch thing, you know. And the transformer I was using formerly, which is one similar to these ones, was loading down this disc too much. So having something active is a lot better. Now there's no loading. Look, I can switch between the monitored channel and the non-monitored channel, and there's no difference in sound. So there we go. Oh, and thanks to Kevin for supplying those 3.5mm mini jacks. And yeah, so I made up a lead with that grey lead to go into the back of the desk there. And there was just one little issue with this little PA amp. It was putting some DC out on the speaker line. So to solve that, I managed to find this 0.1 microfarad capacitor. Of course, a bit of an overkill in terms of voltage rating, but it was what I could find here. So I just put that in series, and it hasn't upset the ballistics or anything, well, not to any obvious way. And the meter works fine. Yeah. I've just got to get it cased up now. So I did that. That took a bit of time to get all that sorted, but now I'm finally happy with the electronics of it all. I also worked on the main signal path a little bit too. I was finding that these transformers here were causing the signal to become mono all the way down the signal path, even though I specifically used these transformers to avoid that. So what happened was it needed some buffering. So I was looking for some stuff upstairs, and I found this cool little old unit. It's actually a TAC noise reduction adapter. So it's got a couple of preamps in it, and that's all I'm basically using. So I modified the main lead, which is this red one here, which just went, you know, from the desk to the transformer into the amp, but now it just goes to this lead here, which feeds into the TAC, and then from the output of the TAC, then we feed the transformers. And in fact, I've just monoed the output here because these outputs are buffered, so it doesn't actually matter that it's mono. It won't mono the rest of the signal path. And another bonus, this gives us an extra output there which we can record from in stereo. So yeah, basically there we go. And of course this will have to turn it up a wee bit. It's driving through to the line amp, of course. And I've got plenty of level to play with there, so that's pretty awesome. And of course, last but definitely not least today, I finally chose a microphone, this D90X NZBC. Oh, D190, sorry. D190E, in fact. Quite a nice sounding mic, actually. It edged out a couple of Audio Technicas I tried, and I found this cool little mic stand, so now it's starting to look like a real radio station. I also found these resistors. These are 40 ohm resistors of umpteen watts. I'm not sure how many watts, but obviously quite a lot. And they work in series with the speakers just nicely to create about a 20 dB mute. which is what I want to happen when you flick the mic switch on. So when you do that and you start yakking into the mic, the speakers will automatically dip down 20 dB. No matter what volume the amp's set at, it'll just be 20 dB lower. Well, about 20 dB. I'm not actually going to get out a dB meter and measure it, but just... And that serves two purposes at a radio station. It stops the mic feeding back on air. And it also reminds the announcer if the mic is still on or off, which could be quite handy because, you know, you wouldn't want to just be playing the CD and leave the mic open and then someone comes in and you have a sweary conversation with them, you know, because it'll go out on air. And that'll be switched with this relay unit here, which I'll have to build up. It looks like someone has actually already built something. This was formerly something that did a very similar job to what I'm going to use it for, but I'm going to strip away these resistors and employ these ones, so because they're cool and they're nice and green. Well, that's about it really. That's what I spent all day doing. I did go down and get some firewood earlier, and some pretty decent firewood down at the beach today. It was about as dry as driftwood gets, so that was all good. And I better go and do a quick grocery shop. I better not forget the things that I need to get, and then get back to Shannon with Baffy and the boys, of course. So that's day 200 off the grid. Hard to believe, 200 days, eh? And you know, I think we've passed through the worst of the winter. I mean, it's, you know, inbox coming up in a couple of weekends. Still a bit more cold and shittiness it could throw at us, but you know, the winter solstice is well past, and you know, we're surviving off the grid. And sometimes it is that. Sometimes it is actually surviving. Yeah. But anyway, I better pack up my stuff and head off. So see you later.